Hey guys, Janet here today with episode 4 of the Ireland scrapbook layouts. I want to apologize if you watched episode 3. Um, I didn't realize till after I was done filming and the video uploaded that what you guys were seeing was backwards. Um, for my camera, for me, it has to look backwards for it to be okay for you guys. And I got to thinking about it afterwards and realized it didn't look backwards for me. And I double checked the video and it was backwards. So I apologize for that. So hopefully this one is fine because as I'm viewing it on my computer screen, it is backwards for me from what you guys should be seeing. So I hope to not make that mistake again. So today I'm doing the St. Pat's Cathedral and the Taylor's Three Rock. Um, I guess it would be a little pub slash bar or whatever. Um, there was like dancing and singing and food and all that stuff. So that is what we will be working on today. So this one I don't have a sketch for. And like I said in the previous videos, I really prefer to work with a sketch because it really gives me a good starting point and an idea. And when I have papers like this one, it is harder to make that work sometimes. But I had this paper. The other side is flags, which I'll use somewhere else in the book because I have more of this. But this side's going to be just a plain white background because I also had this paper, which I've already cut down to size because I needed to make sure that I had enough of it for the other 2 books that I'm making. So this one has already been cut down to size. And I think it's probably, yeah, it's just a 6-inch piece. So what I was thinking I could do here, because again, I have all these photos that I want to fit in, but not a lot of space. And the only way to get around that really is to just print them smaller. And, you know, if you've been keeping up with my episodes, you know I do Walgreens printing and I'm limited on sizes. So what I decided to do with this one, I'm going to put these 3 over here like this. And this is kind of one of my go-tos when I don't have another option, like just butting the pictures up against each other. But I am going to trim a little bit off the bottom for every one of them so that they're not covering up the top of the cross. So there'll probably be something like that. And then I do have two horizontal pictures. So one of them I'm going to mat down here in the green. And then over here, I'm going to just do the reverse of that because, again, I've got 6 vertical and only 2 horizontal. So my design here is going to be limited, in my opinion. So I'm thinking of doing something like this. This is why I cut this down to 6 inches because these I don't need to cut down. These can stay at their size. So I was going to do something like this because it's the only way that I can figure that I can get the pictures with this orientation onto one layout because that's what I was really going for, is trying to keep it to one layout. So did I trim off my zip trip? I think I might have already trimmed it off. Yeah. I already forgot. So I feel like that's what I'm going to do. So for these, it looks like I would just have to take off maybe a 1/2 inch off the bottom. So let's try that to make these 5.5. But I kind of struggled with the cathedral pages because I don't have a lot of stuff to really make pages like this. So since this paper has the, I guess it would be the Celtic cross, I don't know. I just figured that would be a good one for a cathedral. I do have another cathedral paper or another layout to do, which will be way later in the book, like probably towards the end, because it was towards the end of the trip. That one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I may implement some more of this paper because I've got a little bit more of it left. So I basically just narrowed these pictures down to some of the ones I like the most. Honestly, I could have probably done a whole nother layout with this because there was a lot of good pictures inside the cathedral, but I'm trying to keep the layouts, down lower than I normally do. So this is what I think I'm going to do. I don't have a lot of embellishments either for church stuff. I have these crosses that I just got at Hobby Lobby. And of course, they're not a Celtic cross, but they are, something that I could use. There's probably a few things in the embellishment packs themselves, which I may want to look at before completely placing this one down. This one, I don't have any room, but over here, I could put this one way or the other if I needed to squeeze in something. And it's also hard not knowing what my final cathedral layout will be, what I'll want to use for that. So I couldn't really, oh, I could have planned out the whole book in advance and then started filming, but that would have taken a little longer. And I just wanted to do pieces, little by little. So my next episode after this will be the Guinness Storehouse. And that's the, excuse me, that's the last one as of right now that I have pre-planned out, that I've like picked papers and stuff for. So then I have to go back to the drawing board of printing more photos, like choosing those photos, which I should kind of do while I'm sitting down watching TV at night or something. But then I have that dilemma of whether I go ahead and keep printing them from Walgreens, or do I just try to print them in different sizes for myself. So something I could do is pick a sketch that I really like that kind of houses the amount of pictures that I would want to do, and print the pictures based on that, which is what a lot of people would probably do. But that's a lot of work involved, and sometimes I don't feel like putting forth that effort. My usual go-to is I print all my pictures and then I divide them up into themes. Like, for example, this is St. Patrick's Cathedral. And then I see how many pictures that is and the orientations of the pictures. And then I go through my sketchbook. Like for this one, I have 8 pictures. And I did look through my sketches for the 8 photo layouts, but I didn't really find what I was looking for. And also considering I have this here, it just wasn't, working out for me. So I just kind of made up my own thing. But typically, I will just print out all my pictures and use sketches. And then sometimes some pictures get eliminated. And the problem with that is that basically I'm throwing away at that point some pictures that I spent money on to print. So that is what I'm trying to not do in this book, especially since everything I do, I'm doing ×3. So any photos that I don't use, since I'm making these books pretty close to the same, that means if I throw away 3 pictures from my layout here, that's 3 pictures I'm throwing away from the next one. That's 9 pictures, So I'm trying to be very strategic with this book because I'm making 3 of them and not just one like I normally would be. So I got to kind of regroup and see what I feel like would be the best course of action. Kind of just see what's next, what I would scrapbook next, which I believe if I'm going to go in order for the trip, which is something else I do tend to do, I think the next thing after these Dublin pictures would be Kilkenny Castle. So that would probably be my next one. Now these, I mean, normally I cut my mats down smaller, but I'm kind of actually liking this having a bigger border because this paper is so busy that that off-white background really just makes the picture pop better. And even down here, I think because this has a lot of light in the background and stuff, I just think maybe these bigger mats, and it's not like I need that space for anything else. So I think I'm gonna leave the mats as big as they are. These are just photo mats, like where I bought like packs of them at like Hobby Lobby and stuff, where you get like the packs for I don't know how much they are, but usually there's like 100 of them in a pack or something like that. But rainbow colors, so I have a whole bin full of these things where I can just use them to mat photos. Even if I cut them down a little bit, it still doesn't, I can just not waste as much paper as far as cardstock goes. I can just have this one little piece that's my mat. Or I go to my scrap bin sometimes, but again, making 3 books, the odds that I'm gonna have scraps to do 3 albums is probably slim. So, all right, so that one I'm gonna leave alone for a second. This one I am gonna go ahead and glue down just because there's not much else I can do with this one. There's not a lot of space. It's only got the one space that it can go in. And I'm gonna see what embellishments that I have because anything that I have that says St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm probably going to want to use here because I have nowhere else to use it. So I'm going to pull out all these embellishments again that you've seen a few times. You'll see them a lot more too. So I want to have everything that I have. So I have these. Okay, so as far as Ireland themed embellishments, this is everything. I do like these 4 or 3 leaf clovers if I wanted to use them for the church pages. They might be nice. Okay, so first I'm looking for anything St. Patrick's specific. I can tell you right off the bat, I see something I'm going to use, but it's not St. Pat's. This border that says Ireland, you know, if you watched another video, I just feel like I need something there. And there's only one of this. It's not like I have 2 of them to um, double it on the next side. So it matches perfectly with my layout. So it's happening. And I always back it with extra adhesive, if you remember correctly. That looks cute. Oh, it doesn't actually go all the way to the edge. I don't like that. Let me peel it back up for a second. It's like slightly shy of 12 inches. How weird. You know, it still has this piece. See this green piece right here? I wonder if I just cut that out. That's probably all I need. Let me just try it out here. Like, how bizarre that they would make it like that, right? All right, so let's put this back and not be too hasty. And let's go ahead and cut this and see. Yeah, it's like it definitely is cut out there, like it ends there, but I don't know. That still doesn't look like a big enough piece for this. It's really not, but it's something. So I wonder. I could. Okay, I'm gonna pick this thing up again. It won't stick by the time I'm done with it. Heck, I don't even know if I can get it up. It's getting really stuck on there now. Yeah, it's ripping everything up. Okay, it's not coming up. It's going right back where it came from. And we are going to just pretend that we don't see that tiny little gap at the end. And see, there was a tiny bit at the beginning of the sticker. I bet if I would have used both of them, at least when I do the other books, I will be aware of that and maybe plan accordingly. Because see, on this end, there's a tiny bit too, which looks like the little sliver. I mean, the letters don't really match up, but it's kind of a part of a letter, so maybe nobody will notice. Let's just see. At least closes this gap a little bit more. I need tweezers for this. Oh, the things we see as we're going along. The joys of not really pre-planning everything and trying to do it on camera. Okay, so it's a little hot mess there, but it works. So I think we're gonna let it go how it is. So since I'm gonna leave that alone, now let me go back to what I was doing looking for St. Patrick's Cathedral. And I haven't used anything off of this yet. I planned on using these for the next cathedral page. So that's something I do want to keep in mind while I'm doing that, but it's going to be way later. So those I have a plan for. This one's going to be on a sheep herding with a sheepdog demo, that layout. This cross right here would actually be good for this page. So I have that. Let's just keep that to the side. So this one, aside from what I pulled off of it, there's nothing else I'm going to use for that. This one, no. We kind of move the nose out of the way. That's for pub stuff. These are little like Celtic knots or whatever they're called. Yeah, Celtic knots. They can. I might be able to use some of them on this page. I don't know. Ireland, that's not going there. Okay, so Dublin Castle. We actually didn't go there. Here's a St. Patrick's Cathedral right here. So there's that. um, I need to figure out which castle. I think this one's Blarney, but I'm not sure which one that is. It's probably going to go with my Kilkenny pages or something. Nothing about St. Pat's on here. Here's another cross though, right here, another big cross. Um, and then this says St. Patrick's Cathedral as well. So that needs to go there. The problem is, I mean, I do want to use everything up, but here's another cross in here. But I don't want it to say St. Patrick's Cathedral a million times. But I'm always at odds with myself over it because it's like if I don't use it, when am I going to use it? Because otherwise, I don't plan on having enough of this Ireland stuff left to actually sell anything. So I'm gonna have to just use whatever I can use. Usually, when I finish a project, I'll sell what's left on eBay or whatever. But usually, I have a ton left. This time, my goal is to not have that. What's weird is it's not on here. I'm kind of glad it's not because I have it already, but let's see, I just don't know what that is. Blarney's easy to recognize because it's got that tower, but here's another cross. So not anything that says St. Patrick's there. This one has another cross, but I don't see anything that says St. Pat's or that looks like it. And then on here, I'm sure, yeah, here it is right here. So we have one, two that are just words, and then one with the cathedral with the words. So yeah, something's probably not going to get used. So if I were to use something here, I gotta think about that for a second. Let's look at these crosses first because the cross I actually have, and that means I'll have stuff for the next layout too, which is good. Um, I think I might leave this one alone because if I'm going to use these on the next cathedral, that matches that really well. I think this one could go. I mean, heck, I could still center that and put a cross on each side. I mean, they won't be the same by any means, but um, I don't know what else to do there. Like, would I just. And honestly, one of these crosses could kind of just stand there at the bottom or something, or I could kind of put one over here in the corner. All right, let me think about it for a second. I didn't even think I was going to find that much. There's a little cross right here too. So that one would be a good corner cross. That one's going right there. There we go. That's good corner cross. And then this St. Patrick's Cathedral with the actual cathedral and the words, I want that on here somewhere. So I'm feeling like it should go maybe somewhere near the top here. I'm just going to lay it on top of that border, I think. What do you guys think of that? I'm just going to put it there. Usually I either like a bigger title or one of my pictures will say like the title. I don't have that in this case at all, but um, I think that's good enough. So there's nothing else left on there. And then as far as words, we still have that St. Patrick's Cathedral and this gray one. So which one I use over here? Again, I know it's overkill, but I want to use up as much of this as possible. So it just depends on if I want black or gray, because this one's black. And I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like that cross, this one I can't tell until I peel it off. It's like once you peel it off, it doesn't go back on real good. Trying to take out this piece that didn't come out. I feel like that blends in a lot. So I don't know if I should use that one or not. Could always put a second one down there. So these are some things I may end up doing. Again, I don't want to use everything related to crosses right this second because I still have another cathedral layout to do. So this cross seems too big to have this centered and have another one. So I think I'm going to have to just pick a spot maybe there and maybe use that one. I feel like no matter which one I use, it blends into the background too easily, way too easily. But if I wanted to use a big one to fill the space, this one or this one are better. So I think I'm gonna just go with this one. I might pop it up a little bit just to, like with my thin foam tape, just to elevate it. It's, I don't know. I feel like it gets lost over there a lot. On camera, it looks a little bit better. I can see it a little bit better on my screen, but looking at it in person, it looks like it gets very lost. But we're gonna have to just make do because I have what I have to use, and that's it. So I am gonna put this closer to the left-hand side, and then I'm gonna pop this up. I do feel like I could put another little cross, like any of the little cross embellishments that are little. I feel like I can kind of squeeze in here and there. Um, Even this taller gray one, I feel like I kind of put on the edge. Let me think about what I have for the next layout. So I have these and probably this. So that means I may, since I have a decent sized cross that now doesn't want to stay on here because I peeled it off. So I have a couple for the next layout. I could put this gray one kind of along there. And then I also have this little gray one here just to match this gray one. Let me get that one popped up on there and we will decide in a minute. I hate taking so long on camera trying to decide. I'm just so undecided about it. Right, so let's put some of that there, some of that there. And I'm not popping it up a lot since this is my thin tape, so I don't know how much this will really help. But it would look good to put this all the way across, but of course they wouldn't match because these pictures are cut shorter than these, but that's okay. This doesn't bother me as much as these just hanging there did, so I wonder if I want to go ahead and use this cross. Let's just see what it looks like. Maybe just like along this photo, like that. I think that's fine. I mean, it doesn't do much or, enhance or anything, but I'm using a sticker that I have. Okay, so now I got to decide. I do want to put St. Patrick's Cathedral over here. I have gray and black, and what I'm leaning towards is probably using the gray because I use the gray crosses. And I don't plan on having a ton left to sell, but I feel like out of everything, this Dublin sheet, the less I use on it, maybe I could pass it on to somebody else because I'll have a decent amount left on. So I feel like if there was something, because I'm running out of opportunities to use this Dublin, the Ireland I still might use, but I could use Guinness Storehouse. I might use Pub, but nothing else on there I'll probably use. So this one could be something I could pass on. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. And I'm just going to pop it right here. So aside from this big cross and then this sheet with this, those will be for the next layout. I think I've used all the cross stuff, which is what I wanted to do. Let me make sure these sheets didn't have any crosses or anything. I don't think so. And then these, I used that, so we're good there. There is this coin that has a cross on it. Oh, and then there's a little cross here. Heck, I could pop that on there. That won't be a problem. I could just pop that anywhere really. I mean, maybe just down here just to give the bottom something down there. I don't know. So those are good. But this coin that has a cross on it would be good to use somewhere. Maybe I'll end up using that on the Galway Cathedral. I don't know. These Celtic knots would have probably been cool on here too. But we'll just see. Again, I mean, one more church layout to do, and we will see. So for right now, I'm going to leave these alone. I feel like I've added enough little crosses. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to end up using this pack. I may end up returning it. I think I kept the receipt for it just in case because they're not really even the right style of cross for these cathedrals, but it's all I could really find. So this is a done layout. So let's get ready for the next one. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled out these, and I am using a sketch for this one. So this one, I plan on using just two like off whites as the base pages. And then this is my pattern paper. So what they did in this sketch was they had a big piece of the same this way, and then they've got all these individual strips of different things. I'm not going to do all of those because this is pretty busy. I may pull in some border stickers. I probably will do something along the sides like that. But as far as these ones in the middle, I'm not sure. I may do the stripes, but I'm definitely not doing these two pieces here because it's just too much in my opinion. So let's see what we have here. Let's lay these out according to the sketch, which I don't have room to have on my um, screen at the moment. So yeah, this place had like the Irish dancers and the singing, and then we had dinner. So I don't know if I had a plan for how I was laying these out, but obviously the two vertical pictures go here. This is the entrance to the place, so it's going first up here. And then I think since these colors are similar and these have that blue, I think I'm going to put this in the center on both sides just to break that up a little bit. And I'm going to put the food pictures, like dinners, just kind of catty corner from each other. So this is what I'm going to have. So according to the sketch, the main background paper is 10 by 12, and then it has like 5 inches on each side. So let me go ahead and move my St. Patrick's Cathedral out of the way. So 10 by 12 and 5 on each side. So I can just cut these at 5 inches. And this paper is a good one because it's a country map kind of paper and they just kind of go every which way. So it doesn't matter how you put it on the paper because it's not direction specific. So let's see, this would be here. And then these come over here. See, it's just I think I might put the stripe strips to border it off a little bit, but other than that, I don't think it needs any more um any more pattern paper at all. So I do have some border stickers, borders. I have all these actually. So I love these that just went on clearance at Hobby Lobby recently. I gathered up all the ones that I could get, and I have green, and I have a red, I have blue, I have yellow, I have every color that would match this except for purple. So I could essentially use those, and I have enough for all of the books. And then these ones are current, and I have like I don't know 6 sheets of them in here, so I could use those. I don't know. I think they have a clear background. I don't know. I haven't used one yet to see if they would show up that good on this. Well, they're not really see-through. They're pretty solid, so maybe. And I have enough of those. I would like to pick something that I have enough of because I don't want to think about the other two layouts that much. The pastel ones that went on clearance, I got a lot of those. That's not going to work for me. These went on clearance a while back, and I don't have enough of them. And honestly, the black really just doesn't work. And then I have all these like creative memories. Most of them are creative memories borders, but I don't know. I don't. There's going to be very few of these that I have enough of to do all three books. And granted, the borders could be a little different if I need them to be, but I I think I'm gonna go with one of these two that I know that I have enough for. Another option for me would be to just use pattern paper. Like I could use striped pattern paper or something if I wanted to as well, which I may do as well. I don't know. I actually think I should take a look at my pattern paper real quick. Okay, I'm back with the things that I found maybe that could work. So I've got some of these Echo Park dots. I chose two different greens. Obviously, the darker green goes better with the pattern paper. So that one could be an option to go here on the end or here. I was thinking I could do dots on the inside and then stripes on the outside or vice versa. And then I have this striped one that I would cut down like this so that I had all these colors. That one is a possibility with all the different greens, but I don't know how amazing it really looks with that paper. And then the other thing I picked out, I have this Creative Memories Totally Tonal Avocado, which has just green pattern paper. So let's just see. I love that, but I don't think that it would work. This stripe may work. It's got the dark green and the light green. I'd say out of all of them, maybe just that stripe. Let me just pull one out and see. Um, I just think this stripe looks better with this paper than the other one did. The only thing that's going to bug me is this is a very off-white creamy color, and this is like white. So what I'm thinking I might do in this case is do the dot paper, and then if I want another border on the inside or something, to use one of these or one of these. So I'm going to leave these out, but I am going to go ahead and trim the dot paper. Now I do feel like these photos need mats. Um, the question is what color matte, because I don't know how green will look. I'm gonna need to find a green, but I know I'm gonna do the dots on the end. And I know they always do like 1/4 inch strips on these sketches, but I do the 1/2 inch because you don't even really see much with the quarter. So these are just gonna be my outside strips. The inside ones, I'm still at odds with myself as to whether I will be doing those or not. But these are the ones that I'm looking at right here. So the only thing left of the base pages that's really going to show is this sliver of like the off-white there. That's why I chose that as my base page. There's no point in using colored cardstock if all you're going to see is that much of it. In that case, you could just cut another strip and fill it in with something else. So, and obviously this isn't lined up right or anything, but that's what we have so far. But I need to figure out what these are going to be matted in. I'm thinking maybe I should do green because it'll tie in the dots on the side. It'll be a different shade than that's in here because this is all brighter green than here, but I'm leaning towards that. Let me grab some cardstock. Okay, so I matched up paper with this green border the best I could. So this is the one that I'm going to mat the photos in. And I think for the most part, it'll go with the green in the paper. Okay. I'm not going to stress about it. So this will be my two photo mats. So next I'm going to go ahead and just glue all this down and then start to see, how it's going to come together. Hard to see my background pages on the white background I have of the workspace. So we're coming together and seeing if this works out pretty good. And again, this is just my way of cramming 8 pictures into one layout. Right, so we'll line that up there, and then all we have to do is glue the pictures down right on top of each other. Yeah, this place was called Taylor's Three Rocks, which you can't really read on the front of this building, but um, I didn't get a better picture of the title of the place. Normally, I would take a close up of that, but I've also tried to stop being so redundant in my pages, in my pictures, where I would normally do a close up of that and use it as my title, but then I'd still have a picture of the building there anyway, so it's there twice. Kind of like even with the St. Patrick's Cathedral, I ended up putting a picture of the cathedral in there because I had room for it, but since we were in front of the cathedral, um, I didn't want to make duplicates, especially since I have 3 pictures of us in front of it, one for each set of people. So I'm just trying to not have so many duplicates in the books. Yeah, that fits pretty good. I'm gonna pull this back up, but it's not straight. Oop. Yeah, my poor pictures just get so butchered over here. I can't put stuff down straight to begin with. There we go. We made it happen. Okay, and then I'm going to put this border down. So this opposite side of this border has the white polka dots, but again, they don't really match that well. So I mean, I could have done that side, which it might have stood out a little bit better, but it just doesn't. It bugs me with the cream colored background. It just doesn't seem like it goes. So there's one side. And again, sometimes I do have to trim off with the Scrapbook Customs paper. I'm just not sure why. I gotta trim this off a little bit because I think I placed it up just a smidge too high. But I'm not sure why this paper ends up being, even when I cut off the zip strip and I measure it at 12 inches, for some reason there's still always overhang. And the only thing I can think of is that the cardstock is not exactly 12 by 12. I mean, I don't know, I didn't measure it, but it's just bizarre to me that that happens. Okay, there's one side. Try to keep this in frame, straighten it up for you guys. Okay, now this side. These big pieces, I definitely like to put a little bit of extra adhesive on. Although I do believe this adhesive is pretty good. I haven't been using it long enough at this point to, say it stands the test of time, withstands the test of time, I guess they would call it, where I pick up the album years later and the pictures aren't falling off or anything. It's too early to tell. So, but I have picked up some albums from my past where I must have used some pretty bad adhesive because the stuff was just coming off. So that is what I'm trying to avoid here. All right, I'm just going to overlap these pages for a second. So this one we went up there, that one went, this is the bottom. I'm actually going to do this one first because I just got adhesive on it by mistake. So I'm going to get it stuck down. Usually when I'm doing stuff like this where I'm butting them up against each other, I always do the top and bottom first to make sure they're lined up with the top and bottom of the page, and then I fit the middle one in between because there's usually a slight, and I mean like a 1/16 of an inch, if that, slight gap between the pictures. And so if there is, I just try to even that out. Like over here, I don't know how well you can see it on camera. I can see it on the screen. There's a little bit of gap, so I just try to center the center photo so that that gap is even, as even as it can be. This one's gonna be a harder one, another hard one to embellish because it's already so full and so busy. You'll notice that with my pages. I do like busy pages. Like having the busyness there does not bother me at all. It does bother some people. Like I have some friends that don't like the busyness, but I don't mind it. I like all the usage of different things. Like I like it. Like I very often will in one sketch use a variety of pattern papers. So I'm not in this one, but I could. So the question is, if we were going to do a border, I almost wouldn't do one of these because they're the same width as the polka dot ones that I'm using. So maybe just for some variation purposes, I think I would consider these. But then the question is, what color do I use? These are not a full 12 inches either. Is this paper 12 inches? Yeah, my paper's 12 inches. So these borders, oh, it's only, oh, look at that, guys. The ones where it has the Paper Studio logo, those are shorter, but the other ones are 12 inches. How dumb. That is just dumb. But at least I could use, so I could do green, and I know it's hard to tell with all the colors, but I could also do, the blue doesn't really match exactly. I could do the red. Is green and red together too much? You know what I should do? I should do the orange. I'm going to do the orange because there's orange in this, and Ireland's flag is actually green, orange, and white. So I'm going to do the orange, which means I can't use the orange on the end here. So I have to actually dig into every one of these sheets, I bet. Like, that is so dumb. Like, could they be any more dumb? They got to put their logo on there. It had to eat into the sticker spot because if I do that, I'm gonna need two for every. I have three layouts, so I need a total of six of these. So one, two, three, four, five, six. I have just enough. I thought that's what I had because I did just buy three more. And luckily, this product is not discontinued, so I could get more if I had to. I'm gonna use a tweezer here. But yeah, I'm gonna do the orange. It'll break up, because there's already enough green. It'll break that up, and then it's one of Ireland's colors. Question is, can I get this stinking thing on here straight? That's as straight as it's gonna be. But I think that looks nice. I mean, it breaks it up a little bit, but it's not overpowering. It's not like taking over. Just enough to break up the pictures in the paper. There we go. And look at me using something that I bought instead of just hoarding it, which is what I usually do. Okay. So I'll have to leave these out for those other layouts that I have to do. All right, so I like that. So the only thing left to do as far as like basics is to do the photo mats. So this paper has this dot of white on it. I don't know why, but the other side is different. It's like a two-tone. I mean, I guess I could still probably use it. It's not as good of a match though as the dark. Let's see what the pictures look best matted on. So there's the darker color. And then here's the lighter color. I don't even know if you guys can tell on camera. Um, I do think I like the darker. Let's see what it looks like with this one. Now with this picture, I think the lighter side actually would look better with the picture. Let's see. I don't know. Actually, neither side actually looks good with this picture, but I'm matting to match my paper at this point. I just don't want to use red, but I could use red, but I don't know. Let me see what red looks like. Let me grab some red cardstock. Okay, so after going through my cardstock, I have these. This one is a very dark burgundy, and it's pretty much almost exactly with this one. This one's not quite a good match, and especially on camera, it's very bright. It's not actually this bright in person. So even so, though, it doesn't match as good as this one. So it's going to be a toss up then between the red or the green, which sounds weird because then it's like their Christmas colors together. But this one does look nicer with the red, I feel like, than it does with the green. And this one, um, I still almost like this one better with the green, but and I could do one in one color and one in another color, but honestly, since they're next to each other, I just feel like it should be this one's actually got some markings on it. I actually just feel like it should be the same. So I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet and do them both in red because I do have the green already represented on both sides. So I am not gonna cut the photos down because they have plenty of space to be there. So the mats are going to be 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I do have enough of this for the next two sets that I have to do, so that works out really good too. Okay, let's see what it looks like now that it's cut out. I mean, the sketch just has these two pictures butted up against the side without a mat, but this paper is busy and they need a mat. They just do. I mean, I could still butt them up against the edges of the pages like this if I wanted to. Or I could do that. I think I actually might put them like that. Let me go ahead and glue them together. It doesn't want to go. There we go. I already know I don't have any embellishments for this place. So it was kind of outside of town in Dublin. Took us, I don't know, I think it took our tour bus, maybe 15 minutes to get there. I think it was only 5 miles, but I think it did take 15 minutes or so. 15, 20 minutes. So it's not like a major thing in Dublin. So it's not on any of my sticker sheets, which is actually good because that means I'm more free to use whatever else I want to use if I find stuff. I'm gonna have to find something though, because I can't not put any embellishments at all on the page. I mean, I could leave it like this, but I know me well enough to know that I need to put something on it. All right, so I actually wonder though, before I set them down, do I want to look through my embellishments? Because maybe I won't place them directly in the center. Maybe I would want to place them um, lower. Maybe one low, one high. Now that I already put glue on that side, I can't turn it over, but I kind of like them like this actually. So I would just have to see if I have anything that, then I have these two spaces, I guess. Or I could put them down more so that I'm not trying to put stuff here and here. I would just maybe put something up here. Um, Honestly, like one big title would look really cool there. Where's my pile of embellishments at? Sorry about my arm reaching over here. I kind of have this stuff across my table. I mean, this is still in Dublin and this matches really good. I might actually barely be able to fit that there. um, See, something like this would be cool. I'd have to cut it though. And if it's in a post-bound album where it's close like this, it would look good. But in those 3-ring binders, the album is like that. So I'm not sure what mine's going to be in yet. I did get a post-bound for my in-laws book because I got one on clearance at Michael's that had enough for like 50 layouts in it or something. So I did get that. I always put something like that there. As far as this stuff goes, I wonder if I'd want to put Irish pub. There's one specific layout that I will do, which is a pub. So I need something for that. And then there was another meal that we had at a pub, which it's kind of more of a bar slash pub. I may be able to use my pub embellishments for that. But I also have this little Irish pub. I may just stick this on one of the pictures or something and save the bigger one for another layout. So just taking a look through here. And then I have this big thing that says Irish pub right here. That would probably go on my real pub layout. See, there's a lot of these big titles that would look good if I knew the pages were going to be close together, but since I don't, um, maybe the best thing to do at this point is to keep them centered like this. It doesn't mean I have to put embellishments everywhere. And honestly, this paper is an embellishment. So, yeah, I mean, I could put one of these here. Oh yeah, this one has the castle. I remember going through that. I think I want to try to use that on castle. But perhaps this here. I think I'm going to keep these in the center. I like them that way, and maybe I'm just going to add some embellishments in the corners of the photos or something. The paper is already very busy, and it is the embellishment. So yeah, we're going to keep these in the center and like that. And then I think I'll use, does this say Irish pub on it anywhere? I like this Dublin, and this is kind of my very last chance to use it. Um, this is the very last chance to use this because um, this is my last Dublin layout. So the problem is it is a tiny bit too big for the space that I have. I mean, well, it'll almost fit in exactly, even with that border there. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it there. I think I am going to back it with adhesive though, because this paper has a little bit of a, I don't want to say a gloss, but sometimes those kinds of papers that have a little bit of a sheen to them or whatever will be easy to pick stuff back up off of. And I don't want it to come back off. So this overhangs just a little bit because of where I placed it. So yeah, we're going to use that Dublin because it's my last chance. All right, so let's see, is the word, there's the pub. So there's the pub, there's a big Irish pub that I'll use later. I think I'm just going to use this little orange one, and I think I'm just going to put it maybe on this picture just because there's some black space there that I can fill in. Um, and there's this Ireland Memories. I like that. I'm going to put that over here because there's a few things that I think of when I think of Ireland. That would be castles, sheepdog, and sheep. Like I think of sheep. There's a lot of sheep there, and I think of Irish dancing. So this is kind of one of those things that is what I would expect from Ireland. So I like it. And I wonder if I want to put the word Ireland over here. I have that Dublin, Ireland. I mean, why not? Why not? Okay, so the only other thing I would do is I would probably just scatter a few. I wonder if these, the orange and the green, these little things. Of course, I don't have enough for all the books if I do just that one. Let me just see what else I have. Just some little doodads. I could put this little mug of beer. I was saving stuff like that for Guinness Storehouse, but I do have a lot of beer embellishments. So this one here I'll probably save because it looks like Guinness. I'm actually not a beer person myself. This tall thing right here, I may go back and add that onto one of the city pages that has all the buildings. This was, I don't remember what it was called, but there was some significance of it, and I took a picture of it. I don't remember if it's in any of my pictures, but it could go on my city page if I really wanted to use that up. Um, this little, well, there, I think the map of Ireland is on there enough as it is. What else do we have? Trying to read these. They have a sheen too. Not seeing anything on there. I mean, quite honestly, it doesn't really need anything else. I just kind of maybe want to put something, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should just leave it alone. I am definitely notorious for overfilling stuff. I'm not gonna lie. These things maybe, but I don't know. I'm gonna leave it alone. I think I'm gonna leave it alone. Again, like I mentioned in every video, I will go back through all the layouts once I finish the very last one to see if I have any embellishments left and where I might have room to put said embellishments. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Should I add anything else to these pages when the time comes? Or should I just leave them alone? Because as I'm looking at them on the screen, they do look rather busy to me. So I'm going to let it go for right now. And I will see you guys in the next episode, which will be Guinness Storehouse. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.